Ever wondered about the world's darkest unsolved crimes? Here's one that will keep you up at night. Pull up a chair, turn off the lights, because this story is completely real. It started with a sound, knocking, coming from inside the walls. Then the furniture started moving. Then an 11-year-old girl began speaking in the voice of a dead old man. Over 30 witnesses saw what happened inside 284 Green Street, Enfield. Police officers, journalists, paranormal investigators, neighbors, family friends. Every single one of them said the same thing. What they saw inside that house was impossible. This is the Enfield Poltergeist, the most documented paranormal event in recorded history. And it happened in a normal family home in North London in 1977. 284 Green Street, Enfield, North London. A perfectly ordinary council house on a perfectly ordinary street. Peggy Hodgson was a single mother, raising 4 children alone. Margaret, age 13. Janet, age 11. Johnny, age 10. Billy, age 7. A normal family, a normal home, a normal life. Until the night of August 31st, 1977. Janet and her brother Johnny came downstairs to tell their mother something strange was happening in their bedroom. Their beds were moving, not shaking, not vibrating, moving, sliding across the floor on their own. Peggy sent the children back to bed and told them it was nothing. It was not nothing. The next night, it got worse. Knocking sounds began inside the walls. Furniture moved on its own. A heavy chest of drawers slid across the bedroom floor by itself, pinning the children inside. Peggy was terrified. She took the children next door to her neighbour, Vic Nottingham. He came back to the house with them. He heard the knocking too. He called the police. A police officer, Woman Constable Carolyn Heaps, arrived at the house and witnessed a chair move across the floor by itself. She later signed a sworn statement confirming what she had seen. A police officer signing a sworn statement about a chair that moved on its own. This was only the beginning. Word spread quickly. The Society for Psychical Research sent 2 investigators, Maurice Grosse and Lyon Playfair, to document what was happening at 284 Green Street. What they witnessed over the next 14 months changed both of their lives forever. Objects flew across rooms. Toys, books, marbles, moving at impossible speeds, as if thrown by an invisible hand. Investigators were hit by flying objects. Grosse was struck by a Lego brick that flew across the room with tremendous force. Furniture levitated. A large sofa rose off the ground with 2 children sitting on it. Photographs were taken. One photograph, now one of the most famous paranormal images in history, shows 11-year-old Janet floating in midair next to her bed. Not jumping, floating. The photograph was taken by a Daily Mirror photographer who was standing in the room. But nothing prepared the investigators for what came next. Janet began speaking in a voice that was not her own. A deep, growling, old man's voice, coming out of an 11-year-old girl. The voice said its name was Bill. Bill, it said, had lived in the house before the Hodgson family moved in. Bill said he had died in the downstairs living room, in his favorite armchair, from a brain hemorrhage. Investigators tracked down the previous occupants of the house. They confirmed that a man named Bill Wilkins had indeed lived there, and that he had died. in the downstairs living room, in his armchair, from a brain hemorrhage. Bill's son, who was still alive, was brought to the house. He listened to the recordings of the voice speaking through Janet. He said, "That is my father's voice." Here is what makes Enfield truly impossible to explain. Over the 14 months of the investigation, Maurice Grosse recorded over 120 hours of audio, took hundreds of photographs, documented over 2,000 separate paranormal incidents. Over 30 independent witnesses confirmed what they saw. Police officers, journalists, photographers, investigators, neighbors, family friends. All of them said the same thing. What happened in that house could not be faked, could not be explained, could not be rationalized away. Janet Hodgson, now in her 50s, still speaks about what happened. She says it was real. She says she can still hear Bill's voice in her memory. She says she still, sometimes, feels like something followed her out of that house. 284 Green Street still stands today. A family lives there now. They don't talk about what happened, but the neighbors say, sometimes, late at night, they still hear the knocking. The Enfield Poltergeist was never explained, never debunked, never proven to be a hoax. 30 witnesses, 120 hours of recordings, 2,000 documented incidents, and a voice speaking through a child that a dead man's son recognized as his father. The file is closed, but the darkness never ends. That's the story. What do you think? Comment below and let us know if you have any stories you want us to tell. Follow Faceless Coconut and watch your back.